Happy birthday to an American icon, Ronald Wilson Reagan. He's packed a couple of lifetimes in the past 85 years. Husband, father, movie actor, and TV star. The 40th President of the United States. At ease in the Oval Office, on the international stage, even down home in the saddle. We could take a week to celebrate Ronald Reagan's birthday, but we've only got an hour. Joining us with greetings for the Gipper, his daughter, Maureen, and his daughter, Patty, friends and political colleagues, Howard Baker and Paul Laxalt, former presidential press secretary Marlon Fitzwater, newsman Sam Donaldson, entertainer and show business entrepreneur Merv Griffin, and Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich. Plus, we've got some surprises in store. This is your day, Mr. President, and this broadcast is for you.
Now, live from Washington, here's Larry King.
Good evening and welcome to a very special program in honor of Ronald Reagan. Those who've known him as father, friend, president, and private citizen are gathering at the legendary Chasen's restaurant in Los Angeles for an 85th birthday celebration. Although President Reagan won't be able to join them in person, we're told that he's at home right now watching with Nancy. Mr. President, we've got a heck of a show planned, so you just sit back and relax. Our first guest is one of your oldest friends and trusted political advisors, the former governor and former Nevada Senator Paul Laxalt, who joins us from Captiva Island, Florida. Thank you very much for being with us, Paul. Tell us how this friendship began.
Well, I think it probably began in 1964 when President Reagan and I were out campaigning for a fellow by the name of Barry Goldwater.
You met on the campaign trail?
Yes, we did, and then thereafter, Larry, in 1966, we each decided to run for governors of our respective states. We were adjoining states, Nevada and California, so our friendship grew during those years as well.
And after a while, you became politically his best friend, did you not?
Well,
I mean, the two of you were very close.
We were good friends, yes.
Were you often in the White House, often consulted?
Well, during my years in the Senate, when the Reagans were in the White House, I felt literally that I had one foot in the White House and one on Capitol Hill, which is an interesting thing because on Capitol Hill I'd be hearing constantly what a bunch of idiots they were in the White House, and when I go to the White House, vice versa. Tell
me, there's never been a political story like this. Give us your read on what makes him so special.
Well, you can always cite an awful lot of international policy achievements, like the Berlin Wall, like opening up negotiations with Gorbachev. I've always felt that Ronald Reagan was the first politician to effectively tell the American people what a threat to their individual liberties a great and too big federal government can be. And he combined that with a wonderful civility that he had. I never heard him tear anybody down. He would differ on issues, but he was always a sensitive, caring man. And believe me, these days we should be able, and we should very quickly restore ourselves to the time when that degree of civility was once enjoyed.
In other words, he showed us you could succeed in politics without meanness.
Well, it showed me and several others that nice guys can win, and they can win even the presidency of the United States.
Therefore, was what you see, what you got, was he as nice as he appeared? He was off-screen as well?
Well, Larry, you know him as well as I didn't see Ronald Reagan change one iota from the first time that I met him way back in 1964 until he left the presidency and thereafter. He had such self-confidence. He was so assured of himself. No ego. No ego trips. So he was just a wonderful human being.
Yeah, no guile, right?
No what?
Guile.
No guile. No. Oh, as you said, what you saw, you got in Ronald Reagan.
What, if you were to list his negatives, what about, nobody's perfect, what about him bothered you, if anything?
Nothing really. We had no disagreements, no problems in all the years we were associated together. I suppose some would say that he was too kind and gentle for modern brawling room politics. I never sensed that, but some would conceive that to be a weakness in him, that he was so trusting that he couldn't make the tough calls, particularly when it came to people.
The two of you never argue, though?
We never had any arguments whatsoever.
Paul, we have about 30 seconds left, and we know the president is watching, and we'll do this with all our guests. Anything you'd like to say to Ronald Reagan, go ahead.
Well, I just wish you a very happy 85th, my friend. I hope it won't be too long before we're on the golf course together. When we are, I assure you that I won't be sinking any 40-foot putts like George Bush did to you.
Thank you. Former Senator Paul Laxalt, thanks so much for being with us on this very special occasion. Coming up, daughters Maureen Reagan and Patty Davis. But first, the Reagan boys will get a few words in.
Well, I guess the cat's out of the bag. As we discussed, I've been telling people you were 39 years old. I know, it was a hard sell, especially when people found out I was your son, and I'm 37. Now, hey, 85 is good. 85 is great. We love you, Dad. We're up here in Seattle. We're sending big beams of love your way, Dory and I. So take care. Happy birthday.
Dad, I said this to you on your 80th birthday. Interesting enough, it too was at Chasen's. And I just want to repeat it to you now on the occasion of your 85th. 50 years ago, which is my age, you wanted to bring a small child into your family to join it. Maureen was your daughter at the time, your only daughter. And you went out and you adopted me into your family and allowed me to become a Reagan. And I just want to tell you, I've never forgotten that day. I haven't forgotten it for all these 50 years. And every day that I go to work and do my radio show, I just try to keep that Reagan flame, that memory, that Reagan revolution. I want to keep that flame burning. And that's my birthday present to you, to keep the Reagan name alive and to keep it burning forever. I love you, Dad. Thank you.
Stay tuned to CNN International for complete weather updates.
News and information is essential for the international traveler. Make certain you choose a CNN partner hotel next time you travel. For more information about these and other CNN partner hotels, turn to page 300 on CNN Text where available.
Recently, Style with Elsa Clench toured a lavish estate with Asian flair.
Time stood still for interior designer Chari Belgutha-Boitas when she built a home for her family in Cebu in the Philippines. For Boitas, getting every detail right was of the utmost importance, and it took 2 years to do it.
I think successful interior design has to have function, has to have a good sense of aesthetics, and it all has to work well with the day-to-day living that one does in it. There are things that are American, there are things that are Asian, there are things that are Filipino. I just put them all together as I saw them fit.
From which Asian country do you like to collect the most?
I love them all. I think they all have their specialty. I love Thai things, I love Japanese things, I love Chinese things as well. Filipino the best.
Style with Elsa Clench. Weekends on CNN International.
After closing its famed doors at the end of last year, Chasen's restaurant has opened them once more for Ronald Reagan's 85th birthday party. Joining us from the very booth where President Reagan proposed to Nancy are Maureen Reagan and Patty Davis. Maureen on the left, Patty on the right. That's the booth at Chasen's. Maureen, I know you're the firstborn of Ronald Reagan, the daughter of Jane Wyman. Patty is the daughter of Nancy Reagan. What is the feeling like there tonight? They're getting ready for the party. Be a reporter for us, Maureen. What's going on?
It is so fun to be here in Chasen's. It is as though it never closed. Larry, you would absolutely love it. It feels exactly the same. It's just wonderful.
They have it all. Is it being catered? It has to be catered, right? The restaurant's not open.
Well, that's true, but it's being catered Chasen style.
So that the people who ran Chasen's are running this tonight?
Oh, absolutely.
Patty,
Absolutely.
Patty, what's the feeling like for you? Because your mom was proposed to right where you're sitting.
Right. I think it's kind of, you know, it's a bit of a bittersweet event. Obviously, it's acknowledging my father's birthday and honoring it, but he's not able to be here. So it's a bit bittersweet and moving on that level.
Kind of a little ominous sitting in that booth?
Ominous?
Well, for want of a better term, I mean, it's a weird feeling, isn't it? Would be to
Larry,
me.
I promise I'm not going to propose to
Well,
her
I
tonight.
think ominous means that something is going to happen, like an omen, you know?
Yeah, well, maybe some...
I haven't gotten that feeling
No
yet.
one has
I'll
come
let you
over
know
to
if
the
I
booth
do.
yet, right, Patty?
What?
No one has come over to the booth yet.
No.
That's
no
what I
one's
meant.
proposed to me yet, Larry, but hey, you know, if you'd like to get married for the 17th time, you can propose to me right now.
Keep it up, Patty. Keep it up.
I'm sorry, but you gave me such an opening. I'm sorry.
All right,
sorry.
Maureen,
Yes, Larry.
what kind of dad is he?
What kind of dad is he? Ah, he's a great dad. We were looking, there was wonderful pictures all around the restaurant. Everybody went through the files and they found some great photos all the way back and some pictures of him. I remember when I was a little kid, and I'm sure he did the same thing to you because he would not change in this. This gorgeous golden Adonis that used to hang out at the swimming pool, and every once in a while he'd push in with his hip just to be sure you knew how to swim.
Mm-hmm.
And those are my earliest memories.
Patty, what are yours?
I think probably horseback riding with my father. You know, he communicated his life lessons, his lessons about life, rather, through things like horseback riding and learning to body surf in the ocean. And he taught me to not be afraid of a horse, that a horse would know when I was afraid, to always get back on after I fell off. He taught me how to be a good horsewoman, but he also, at the same time, taught me in that way how to live my life.
You were separated for a time.
Mm-hmm.
What was it like to come back to the fold? And by the way, you've written a terrific book dedicated to your dad. It was a wonderful read.
Thank you.
What was it like to come back?
It was like finding a... it was like having an appendage that had been amputated, reattached, sort of, and I didn't realize that until I came back. I think to the degree that we cut ourselves off from our parents, we amputate a very vital part of ourselves.
Are you closer now than ever?
Yes, absolutely.
With Mom and Dad, right?
Yes, absolutely, definitely.
Maureen, everyone is interested, and I know Nancy will be coming a little later. How is your father?
He's wonderful. Patty and I were there last night. We all had a birthday cake. Always celebrate with a man who loves birthday cake. It's the best way to do it. And the moon came up just as we finished dinner. This golden full moon just hung in the sky. And we told him that it was there for his birthday, and he laughed and said, well, it looks like a birthday moon to me. And then today he got to play golf, and I wished him as a birthday gift his best game of golf ever, and I think he had it.
We saw the pictures the other day. He looks remarkably well. How is he doing in other phases? Everyone's concerned.
He's doing great. He's doing wonderful. This disease is horrible, but he's doing wonderful.
Patty, what's your read?
My read is that he has maintained the same spiritual attitude toward life that he always had. This is another turn that his life has taken. I think it was made very clear in the letter that he wrote to America. This is something that God has handed him, and he's taking it and accepting it, and you know, giving into that experience. And I think that's all any of us can hope for in ourselves. I take it as a great lesson, actually.
Both Maureen and Patty will be back later this hour with some other special birthday guests in Hollywood. When we come back, some good wishes from the nation's capital. But first, Mr. President, some greetings from some friends, old and new.
Mr. President, happy birthday. We just passed a resolution with 100 senators voting to support a happy birthday for Ronald Reagan. I appreciate the many times you invited me to the White House when you were President of the United States. Appreciated your hospitality and Nancy's. I hope to be able to reciprocate after the 1996 election. Thanks a lot. Happy birthday.
Ronnie, I wish for you many, many years of life, many, many years of happiness, a long, good life, continuing your contributions to everyone who lives on this earth. And I thank God that he allowed me to live with you. Thank you.
As a fellow Irishman, I'll always remember the times that we spent together with admiration and affection. And so today, on your 85th birthday, I just want to tell you that we in Canada are thinking of you and wishing you well, and saying to you and to Nancy and to your guests, Godspeed.
Hello, President Reagan. This is Captain Scott O'Grady, wanting to wish you a happy birthday. I know that I speak on behalf of all of those who have served in the military by saying that we admire you and respect you greatly for everything you've done for this country and this world to make this a more peaceful place. And for all of those who have and who are defending freedom, we salute you.
Japan reporting last year's trade figures. Its current account surplus of the broadest measure of goods and services fell nearly 15% to about 110 billion US dollars. That's down from 129 billion in 1994. In December alone, the current account surplus slipped by nearly $2 billion to 10.73 billion. Stocks in Tokyo are higher following that report. Right now, the Nikkei average is up 41 points. In Singapore, the Straits Times Index is shedding 6 points. Tuesday, it climbed 9 points to a record high. And the All Ordinaries in Sydney, up 5. Checking the currency market, the U.S. dollar is extending gains made in New York earlier. Right now, the dollar is up 1/4 of a yen against the Japanese currency, gaining 1/3 of a pfennig on the German mark and 1/2 cent higher on the British pound. That's the latest in international business news. I'm John Metaxas in New York.
CNN International and Reuters bring you Reuters 1000. Financial information from the world's markets delivered the way that makes the best financial sense. Via the CNN television signal straight to your PC. So you receive near real-time data precisely where you need it. Reuters 1000. Financial information that makes financial sense.
As another business day ends along the Pacific Rim, CNN International's Business Asia brings perspective to the area's business and financial news. With years of experience covering Asian business, anchor Fred Katayama provides insight on economic issues facing the entire Asia-Pacific region, interviews the experts, and analyzes the impact of Asian business on a global economy. The Daily Journal of Asian Business is Business Asia, weekdays only on CNN International.
I'm Bernard Shaw at the CNN Election Center in Atlanta. A head-turning upset in Louisiana. CNN tonight at this hour is declaring Patrick Buchanan winner of the Louisiana caucuses over Texas Senator Phil Gramm. We do not as yet have a final breakdown on the delegate count. Now our political analyst, Bill Schneider. Woo.
Well, this means the Gramm campaign is seriously wounded, and it's a big blow to his chances of even surviving in Iowa, New Hampshire, and getting to the South, places like Louisiana, where he expected to be his base in the election. You know, this was a very conservative Louisiana electorate. 63% of them describe themselves as very conservative, 51% belong to the religious right, and in both groups, the vote was 2-1 for Pat Buchanan over Phil Gramm. Buchanan was doing well across the board, particularly among older, poorer, less well-educated Louisiana voters. It's a classic populist vote. Phil Gramm said, if we win convincingly Louisiana, the process is going to turn into an avalanche. It did, and the avalanche fell on Phil Gramm.
Thank you, Bill Schneider. Once again, Buchanan upsets Gramm in Louisiana. I'm Bernard Shaw in Atlanta. A full update at 10 o'clock. Now quickly back to Larry King.
Welcome back. Now with us, are one who reported to the president, one who reported to the press, and one who reported to the people during the Reagan era. Former Chief of Staff and Senator from Tennessee, Howard Baker. Former press secretary for both Presidents Reagan and Bush, Marlin Fitzwater. And ABC newsman, Sam Donaldson. On this, the occasion of the president's 85th birthday, he is watching at his home in Bel Air, California. What are your thoughts tonight, Howard?
Well, first of all, I'd say happy birthday. Ronald Reagan is perhaps as presidential as any person I know of or ever met. He is not only a serious political personality and historic one in this country, but he's also a genuine human being. He had a wonderful sense of humor, and he was a delight to work with.
Sam, you remember him as, you had tough times with Ronald Reagan.
Look, I've got to say to him tonight, where are you when we need you? I mean, what Washington...
You miss
like
him,
tonight.
don't you?
Oh, he was larger than life, as everyone remembers.
He is larger. We keep saying was.
Yeah, but as president, I mean, and the humor particularly stood out. Everybody loved to cover him. We may chew on him for his policies, but you couldn't chew on him as an individual. I remember one time, early press conference, he called on me, and I drew myself up to my full pomposity. I said, now, Mr. President, you've blamed this continuing recession on mistakes of the past and on Congress. Does any of the blame belong to you? Yes, he said. I was once a Democrat. brought the house down.
What was he like to work for?
Well, he had a great sense of dignity and strength about him, and was a delight in a human way. As press secretary, it was great because he could let a lot of the criticism roll off his back. And Sam used to yell at him in the Rose Garden, and the president, we'd walk into the Oval Office, and he'd say, now, what's Sam yelling about? And I said, sir, he just doesn't think what we're doing is right. He says, I don't know why he would think that way, and go right on about his business. He never got mad or angry.
Was Paul Laxalt right about no guile, no meanness?
He was. He was just not a person to be vindictive or to try to connive or to fool people, and he would always give you a straight answer. That was also great for me, because you'd walk into the Oval Office and ask a question, he'd tell you exactly what he thought, and you know he was going to think that for the rest of his life.
As president, Howard, details were not his strength, right?
No, details weren't his strength. And I look back on that, and I'm sometimes just astonished at the discretion he gave to his staff and to me. But, you know, that's part of what I think of as an ideal presidential personality, because he had a central core of conviction. He knew who he was, he knew what he believed, and he knew what he wanted to do. But he didn't want to mess around with the details. And that's not bad. You know, this man is president of the United States, he's head of state, and as long as you performed according to his fundamental tenets, it was great. But if you ever got off base, I remember one day when I was really going hammer and tong at a point that I was trying to make, and I sensed he wasn't agreeing with, and he stopped me and said, Howard, just remember, I'm president and you're not.
Yeah, what do you say to that?
There's that.
He frustrated you a lot, though, didn't he, Sam?
Well,
Or you would appear on camera to be frustrated a lot.
Well, we'd ask him questions, and we'd think we were going to get an answer that was based on the numbers and the lines and the budget and all of that, and we'd get some anecdote. That was very frustrating.
How about his use of the helicopter blades?
Well, could I set the record straight?
Yes.
Now, and Ronald Reagan will back me up on this. It said that we yelled at him over the helicopter blades. I didn't have those blades going. What, to decapitate the President of the United States? Are you kidding?
So
the engines might be on, but I want to say this. He would cup his hand, what? If he'd hear a question he wanted to answer, he heard it. He'd come right over and answer. But the questions he didn't want to answer, it would be, what, Sam, what? Into the helicopter he'd go.
From a press secretary standpoint, easy, delightful, or problemsome?
He was easy and delightful. Another thing was he liked to make decisions in writing. He liked to get papers that had the options on them and make the choices. He'd come in the morning and say, this is what I've decided. And you could read those and know exactly what he was thinking, what he felt were the right reasons.
You mean, Marlon, he would not come in and put his finger up to the wind and say, what should I decide?
What are you implying?
Nothing.
Well, the press would say, what did he mean to say by that? And the president would say, well, I meant just pretty much what I said.
Our guests will be with us the rest of the way. We've got lots of surprises coming in. Please don't leave us. We have an end of the show tonight that's going to flip you. Stay right there, gentlemen. We'll be back with more after a commercial break. And these happy birthday greetings from others who have had the pleasure of working with you, Ronald Reagan.
Happy birthday, Mr. President, from your former colleagues here in our nation's capital. I want to tell you that over time, your reign here as President of the United States is looked at with considerable nostalgia.
Mr. President,
It's certainly a great delight to have the opportunity to wish you a very, very happy birthday this way, and to thank you for all the many happy, not only birthdays, but many happy days you gave the United States and the world during your 8 years as president.
Representing the United Nations in your cabinet was about the greatest privilege of my life, and a very wonderful, warm memory. Working with you was a very special honor, and everyone here misses you.
I want to wish the happiest of birthdays to former President Ronald Reagan, the man who truly restored my faith in all the good that can be accomplished in Washington. Congratulations on reaching this milestone.
Happy birthday, boss, and many more to come. This is a time for you to relax and enjoy life, knowing that you've done well by our country.
You've always said, God bless America. So on your birthday, Mr. President, I say to you with all my heart, God bless Ronald Reagan.
If it's happening in the world of sports, then we've got your ticket to the latest scores and highlights, plus in-depth interviews with those who play in the international arena. Follow your favorite teams and athletes on CNN International World Sport.
Recently, Showbiz This Week visited a movie set that was anything but grumpy.
Sophia Loren led a memorable sing-along for moviegoers a hard-to-believe 38 years ago in Houseboat with Cary Grant. She's the belle of a lake again, now a young 61 years old, in Grumpier Old Men with Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon.
The addition of Sophia Loren is absolutely wonderful. I can't imagine. It's like a stroke of genius.
In Grumpier Old Men, Loren's character turns a small Minnesota town upside down by turning the cranky fisherman's favorite bait shop into a restaurant.
Draghetis will be a romantic lakefront ristorante.
Loren believes this story will translate around the world, and there's talk a sequel may be set in Italy.
Everybody knows these kind of people. So if it's funny, it's going to be funny for everybody in Italy, and in France, in London.
Showbiz This Week on CNN International.
We have been told that President Reagan and his wife Nancy are watching this tribute at their home in Bel Air. Nancy will be going over to the party later, which is scheduled to start a half hour from now. Just ahead, more from Washington and Hollywood. But first, Mr. President, a very special greeting from the school children of the Ronald Reagan Middle School in Dixon, Illinois.
This is CNN International, a network of Turner Broadcasting System.
When it comes to covering business worldwide, there's no substitute for experience, backed by the global resources of television's largest news-gathering organization. A commitment to reporting that's both timely and accurate from Europe, Asia, and North America. That's why only CNN International can say, nobody covers the world of business like the people who cover the world. CNN Business News.
Welcome back. We're saluting former President Ronald Reagan on his 85th birthday. With us once again from Chasen's Restaurant in Hollywood are Maureen Reagan and Patty Davis, and the man who started a revolution of his own. On the left, the Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich. He's not used to being on the left. Thank you for being with us, Mr. Speaker. We have with us here in studio Howard Baker and Sam Donaldson and Marlon Fitzwater. This is a very festive and joyous evening. What did Ronald Reagan mean in your life?
Well, he meant more things than we can get into in a short time, Larry. Let me just say that this is really his revolution. I felt sitting at the State of the Union the other night, like the first third of that speech was really President Reagan's speech. I think he has changed history permanently. He certainly changed my life permanently. He brought the Republican Party a sense of hope and optimism and understanding that America is a great country filled with good people and that our job was to reach out to all Americans and to extend freedom. And when you look at what he did around the world, he didn't just mean a lot to America. The Reagan presidency changed the history of the entire human race, and because of it, there is no Berlin Wall, and the Soviet Union no longer exists. So I think all of us here tonight have a lot to celebrate and a lot to be grateful for, and Ronald Reagan really created the world that we're trying to now expand and build upon. So this is his revolution. I'm just perched on his shoulder as it is.
What's the feeling like there now?
Oh, the people who've gotten here so far are very excited. The crowd got to be so big, they originally were going to have just a few hundred people in the restaurant. Then it overflowed into a tent. Then it overflowed into an even bigger tent. And they finally had to say, no more folks can come out here. It's going to be a huge overflow crowd of people celebrating a man who they love and who they know really helped Americans and really helped people everywhere get back in touch with freedom and what freedom really means.
Is it a legacy you miss? I mean, are there any Ronald Reagans around?
No, I mean, you only see a Ronald Reagan once in a generation or two generations. I think he was the most effective president since Franklin Roosevelt, if you look at the totality of what he changed and how he impacted. And I think you don't see those very often. And obviously, you know, you'd love to somehow be able to have had him for a third, fourth, fifth, sixth term, but that's frankly not the way the system works. And it's probably good to force us to go on our own and for our generation to now learn how to apply his speeches and to learn how to lead and do the best we can, learning the lessons that he taught us.
Maureen Reagan, the people who are coming tonight are paying, and that is going for a charitable effort, is it not?
It is. It's to the Presidential Library. It's for an annuity which will continue the work of the library on into the future beyond us. And it's very important. You know, there are a lot of people out there around the country who can't come here or who don't have lots of money to give. And we've always been a small donor group ourselves. So at the risk of sounding like a commercial, Larry, the library does have an 800 number if any of your viewers seeing us tonight would like to participate, to send their greetings or to make a small contribution. It's 1-800-85-85-4-GIPPER, G-I-P-P-E-R.
1-800-85-4-GIPPER.
Yeah.
I toured that library with your mother, Patty. I imagine you have been through it many times. It maybe is the best of the libraries. It's a historical, special place. Have you been through it a lot?
No, I haven't, actually.
You haven't been to the library yet? Patty.
Oh, dear. It's okay. It's all right. It's
Maureen,
okay.
take your sister.
I'm going to take my sister to the library, but you're absolutely right, Larry.
I just came back, Larry, not too long ago.
She lives in New York, Larry. She doesn't live out here, but
I'm getting to all of this
We'll
stuff,
get
you know?
there, I promise. No, there is a great sense of celebration about
like
the
prodigal
library.
daughter. You know, the prodigal son didn't go to the library
The prodigal daughter has come back, yes.
Yes.
Newt, have you
something else?
Newt, have you, Mr. Speaker, have you been to that library?
Oh, yeah, just go to him.
Yeah, I sure have, Larry, and let me say, it's part of the reason I was so excited about being able to help tonight, because I really think that it is a very historic library, and I think it's a library which really brings you in touch with the human side of Ronald and Nancy Reagan, reminds you of the degree to which the presidency is more than just a set of speeches. It's human beings doing things that really matter in a way that really changes history. And let me say that not just the president's contribution. When you look at what Nancy Reagan did with her Just Say No campaign, the impact that had on teenage drug use, and what happened once we got away from that as drug use began to go back up, you can see that there really are contributions that are very important. And when people do visit the library, I think they get a renewed sense of history and a renewed sense of how important it is to have leaders who believe and who have the courage to live out their beliefs.
Well, Larry, can I just say one thing, and that is that I don't know if you guys know this story, but I think it's very telling about this. That you raise money and from a lot of people, and you build a library, and nobody realizes that you then have to have this annuity to continue it. But when President Reagan was president, Caroline and John Kennedy came to see him one day, and they explained to him that they needed to build an annuity for their father's library, and they hoped that he would help them. And he did an event for them which raised almost all their money. And he said to me, I remember when he came upstairs that night, those are really nice kids. Of course I'm going to help them. So now we're kind of doing it for him.
That's a great story. We've got lots more and a very special surprise ahead. Before we break, Mr. President, a few words of inspiration.
Happy birthday, Ron. I wish I could be there in person to help you celebrate it. You have been a wonderful friend to us, and you have been an inspiration to the world. You have a philosophy that was based on the Bible and faith in God, and you never changed, and that made you great. And I'm praying that these latter years, that God will give you great joy and great peace, and may this be a great and wonderful day for you as you celebrate your 85th birthday. God bless you and Nancy and the family.
Happy birthday, President Reagan. On behalf of the Notre Dame football team and myself, we not only want to wish you a very happy birthday, but also thanks for the many things you've done. We hope we'll have the opportunity to extend these birthday wishes to you personally for many years to come.
Happy birthday, Mr. President. Memories light the corners of our minds, and I cannot help but remember the good times we had at the White House with the television shows that we all did. And I still remember the First Lady singing to you, "Our love is here to stay," as one of the highlights of my life, I must say, watching all that. That love between the two of you has been one of the wonderful things to watch, and I congratulate you on your fantastic and wonderful birthday.
Mr. President, happy birthday. One of the most distinguished of your predecessors, Thomas Jefferson, said, "America is man's last best hope on earth." I know that was your philosophy. When you said that to the American people, they believed you. Thank God. God bless you, sir.
When stress takes its toll, wouldn't it be great to have your very own personal masseuse to soothe and relieve tension? When routine jobs become painful, wouldn't it be great to call on a shiatsu massage therapist to melt away sore, aching muscles? Theraflex presents the Pro Shiatsu Personal Massager. Unlike vibrating massagers that only rub the surface, Pro Shiatsu simulates the kneading action of a real masseuse, sending penetrating waves of energy to relieve pain, stress, and sore muscles. It's easy to use. Simply apply Pro Shiatsu wherever you need it, anytime, anywhere. It never gets tired. Pro Shiatsu Deep Soothing Massage actually gets right to the pressure points, providing instant relief. Pamper aching feet with a soothing and relaxing massage. It works miracles on the lower back and improves circulation on calves and thighs. Pro Shiatsu Massager is portable and lightweight. Imagine getting a relaxing massage at the office while you work, or take it along when you work out for deep muscle relief. Use instant reverse to send waves upwards to the neck and shoulders or downwards through the whole body. There's nothing that soothes, relaxes, and relieves aches and pains like the Pro Shiatsu Massager. Now you can enjoy the luxury of a massage in the comfort and privacy of your own home at a price you can afford. A professional masseuse can charge up to $50 per hour, and catalogs have advertised similar units for as much as $200. Now you can order the Pro Shiatsu Massager at the special price. Don't delay. Order now.
Now available around the world from Interwood. To order and for information on how to pay in your own currency, call the local number on your screen now. This special television offer from Interwood Marketing is available for a limited time only, so don't delay. You can order in all these countries, so please call now. Operators are standing by to take your order. If lines are busy, please call later, but do call. Your satisfaction is guaranteed. Local operators are waiting to hear from you. Call now and take advantage of this limited special offer. Your satisfaction is guaranteed. Call now.
By the way, if occasionally our guests referred to the president in the past tense, they're referring to him as president, and the questions asked and answered dealt with him as president, and that's the reason for saying was. Ronald Reagan is very much with us and is watching this program tonight. Our birthday celebration in honor of Ronald Reagan's birthday is now in full swing. And with us from Hollywood are Reagan's daughters, Maureen Reagan and Patty Davis, along with House Speaker Newt Gingrich. I'm jumping him ahead. But based on Louisiana, he may be thinking that way. We'll ask Newt about that in a while. Dropping in at the Chasen's party, longtime Reagan friend Merv Griffin. And here in Washington, former Reagan Chief of Staff Howard Baker, former Press Secretary Marlon Fitzwater, and ABC News' Sam Donaldson. Merv, tell us the history of Merv Griffin and Ronald Reagan.
Well, have you noticed that Newt copied my hair?
That's exactly right. You finally the secret's out, Merv. I watched you one night. I thought, this is the color of the future.
It's terrific.
All right, we have our lookalikes.
Tell you the what of Ronald Reagan, the secrets of Ronald Reagan?
No. How far you and he go back?
We do. We go back to Warner Brothers, so it's pretty close to 40 years. Wonderful fella, great sense of humor. He's always been a hero to me. If you look at his life, I know sitting around one night, I kidded him, he had said he was a lifeguard. And I said, oh, I don't remember Illinois being near the ocean. And he said, no, I was a lifeguard in the river. I said, lifeguard in a river? I never heard of a lifeguard in a river. Oh, yeah, he said, there's a big current there. It's a big river. you don't think of lifeguards in a river.
Big river.
So I said, a lot of people need your help? He said, oh, constantly. I was out there saving lives. And I said, female? Oh, yeah. The river was rough on them. And I said, keep score? He said, yeah, there's a tree with little notches. So all of us have been searching for that tree.
Merv,
we want to count the notches.
You're going to MC this party tonight, right?
Yeah.
Can you tell us what's going to happen?
Well, you know, with Newt cutting the budget, we have cut out the orchestra, so I am the orchestra. The orchestra, I'm the MC. I will be taking Patty through the library later tonight. Let me see. I'm playing the piano, and Johnny Mathis is going to sing.
Oh, Johnny sing. I thought you were going to get Marlon Fitzwater to sing.
No. We want a guy with a hit record. Sorry, Marlon. Marlon and Mervyn.
That's my chance.
Marlon and Mervyn. And I know Nancy's a close friend of yours, and she'll be coming by later. Have you seen the president recently? He looked so good the other day in those pictures.
He does look good. And you know, it's very funny. Today, a lot of people call, like Irv Kupcinet, called from Chicago and said, Merv, he looks great. Why is he not coming? That is now it's among all the press. They're all asking, he plays golf and he goes to the office, but why isn't he coming?
It's his choice.
Maureen?
He doesn't choose to be in large groups of people, and he made that choice well over a year ago.
And I think the nature of the illness keeps somebody from going into a large crowd. That it can be very confining to them, and...
Well, it was just a decision that he made some time back, and we kept
sticks to it.
Right.
Newt, before we take a break and bring our panel from Washington back in, I'd be remiss. It is, after all, he was a great politician, in not asking you what you make of Buchanan in Louisiana tonight.
I don't have a clue, because I don't know what Buchanan did.
We've called him CNN has called him a winner.
Well, I think that, first of all, Pat would be thrilled if he were here tonight to, I think, tell you a lot of stories about what he learned working for Ronald Reagan and how much his speeches, you know, have grown out of his experience with Reagan. So in a sense, Phil Gramm was converted from Democrat to Republican by Reagan. Bob Dole was the head of the Senate Finance Committee passing the Reagan tax cuts. Lamar Alexander, as governor, was a strong ally of Reagan. I think all of them would be glad to explain to you how close they are to Ronald Reagan. I think that tells you something in the Republican Party about Ronald Reagan's strength tonight, that every one of them would be proud, and Steve Forbes editorialized in favor of Ronald Reagan for his entire career. So all of them would be glad, I think, to show up and tell you that each of them in their own way is part of the Ronald Reagan tradition.
What about Bob Dornan? I mean, he covered everyone but Dornan and Keyes.
Wow.
So Reagan won tonight in Louisiana.
That's right. Keyes was named by Reagan to UN, and B1 Bob Dornan was one of Reagan's earliest supporters when Reagan began running back here for the presidency in 1980.
I think that clean sweeps it, Newt. Well, Mr. President, we have to take a quick break. But first, a few of those reporters who are always looking for a scoop have something to say to you.
Happy birthday, Mr. President. We really miss you and your primetime news conferences. We're still wearing red in your honor. And we think this is a wonderful occasion. We wish you all the best on your birthday.
You may be off the front pages every day, Mr. President, but make no mistake about it, you are still the hottest property in the GOP. A very sincere happy birthday and all the very best.
Happy birthday, Mr. President. You know, I've always felt privileged to share this birthday with you, February 6th.
Mr. President, we do miss you here in Washington. We miss your sense of humor and your kindliness and your gentle spirit. So have a very happy birthday from all of us in Washington who wish you well.
All of the great names from the world of fashion
can be seen with the first lady of style,
Elsa Clinch.
Saturday on CNN International.
Baruch atah Adonai.
Sights and sounds of Israel, one of 210 countries and territories where you can watch CNN International.
We're back for a few more moments with our special guests and then a surprise at the end. Here all tonight to celebrate Reagan's birthday. So we'd like to have each say whatever they wish to the president who's watching. We'll start with Senator Baker.
Well, Mr. President, we miss you. I think the country misses you, and indeed, I believe the entire world misses you because you set such an example of strength and the symbolism for the strength of America that it was unmistakable, and we're still benefiting from that. I think the presidency benefited from it, as did the country, the economy, and I think your contribution to the ending of the Cold War will be recorded as one of the great historical achievements of our era.
Patty Davis, what would you like to say to your father?
Well, anything that I want to say to my father directly, I will say to him personally, but I would like to say that my wish for any child who is watching their parent at the end of their life is that they hold to the most precious memories of their lives together and the gifts that were given to them. And I'm very grateful that I think a lot of gifts were given to me.
Maureen Reagan, what would you like to say to Pop?
Well, I already wished him the best golf game of his life, and I think he had that today. But I'd just say, I love you, Dad, and happy birthday, and let's do it again next year.
To Marlon Fitzwater, what would you like to say to Ronald Reagan?
Well, Mr. President, I think so many people love you today still because you always loved us. You trusted us, and you knew we were good folks, and we all miss you.
Merv Griffin, what would you like to say to President Reagan?
Well, Mr. President, you gave us a lot to be proud of in this country and a lot to aspire to. And I don't know if you can ever be topped, that's a show business word, in the presidency. You're simply the best one we've ever had.
Sam Donaldson.
Well, Mr. President, we miss you.
I know you're very touched this night, but right, you've been very moved this evening.
I think he's a great guy. We reporters miss you as a campaigner. We always knew where you stood, destroy the communists, cut the taxes. You always did a sense of humor. The meanest thing you said about your opponents was, well, there he goes again. And you had a sense of humor that carried forward. When Andrea Mitchell asked you in 1984, what about Mondale's charges? Your reply, he ought to pay them. Will go down in political annals. And Mr. President, if you will come out of retirement, if we can get rid of this pernicious 22nd Amendment, I know you agree with me now, I'll come out of retirement to cover a campaign once again, together again.
Newt, we have 30 seconds. What would you like to say to President Reagan who's watching?
President Reagan, as you watch us on C-SPAN and as you watch us on CNN, I want you to know that every day the House Republicans think of you, talk about you, and ask what we can learn from your skills and your beliefs and how we can grow through your courage. And we all wish you a wonderful happy birthday.
Thanks to everyone who's joining us this evening to make this a very special birthday. Thanks to Mr. Fitzwater and Mr. Donaldson and Senator Baker, and thanks in L.A. to Maureen Reagan and Patty Davis, and to, of course, Merv Griffin, and to Newt Gingrich, and earlier Senator Laxalt. A very special surprise is ahead just for you, Mr. President.
Is essential for the international traveler. Make certain you choose a CNN partner hotel next time you travel. For more information about these and other CNN partner hotels, turn to page 300 on CNN Text where available.
The 96 Summer Olympics. As the world comes to Atlanta, CNN chronicles the teams, the issues, and the Olympic hopefuls. A weekly update of the greatest spectacle in sport. Olympic Update, Mondays, only on CNN International.
Recently, CNN's Computer Connection found a new breed of mighty mice.
Here's a new twist to the familiar screen-pointing device. Look, Ma, no hands. Yes, it's a computer mouse that you can step on. The no-hands mouse is an easy way to navigate around your computer screen, keeping your hands free for other things. Plug it into any PC or Macintosh computer, and then step aboard. One footpad is a 360-degree pressure-sensitive device that allows the user precise control over the speed and direction of the cursor. The second pedal is used as a clicking device. The no-hands mouse is based on the eraser head pointing device technology found on IBM ThinkPads. Physicians involved in the design process wanted to come up with a device that would eliminate painful carpal tunnel wrist injuries. Now you can safely surf the net properly with your feet.
CNN's Computer Connection, weekends on CNN International.
This has been an incredible night, and I want to personally salute our production staff for putting together this wonderful program. Before this celebration ends, President Reagan, there are a few more well-wishers we have saved just for now, just for you.
Mr. President, it gives me great pleasure to join in the 50th anniversary celebration of your 35th birthday. I'd like to think that we're honoring more than the beginning of another year in your rich and wonderful life. We're honoring America itself, its optimism, its sense of hopefulness, the belief that every one of us can make the most of his or her God-given capabilities. You continue to remind us of these, our fundamental virtues. And for that, all of us will always be grateful. Growing up on the prairie, I guess you learned that in this nation, there are always new and brighter horizons ahead. So, Mr. President, Hillary and Chelsea and I join all the rest of your fellow Americans in wishing you the very happiest of birthdays, with many more to come.
Barbara and I are in London as this great event unfolds, but we're pleased to join you in this manner in sending our warmest wishes to Ronald Reagan as he celebrates his 85th birthday, what President Reagan no doubt would refer to as the 46th anniversary of his 39th birthday. This program tonight demonstrates something that Barbara and I already knew, that Ronald Reagan touched the lives of countless Americans and people around the world. He did so always with decency, always with honor. History will surely note that he was a great president and leader, but the outpouring of affection on this special occasion shows he was also a thoroughly decent man and a great friend. And Barbara and I just want to get in the long line of Ronald Reagan friends and admirers to wish him and Nancy and his family, wish them well, and to thank him for all he's done to make this a better world. Ron, I miss you very much. Good luck, sir.
God bless you, Mr. President.
Congratulations, Ron, on your 85th birthday anniversary, which is another milestone in a terrific career in the political arena and the private sector. Our friendship goes back over 30 years, and I'm proud of it. I recall as a member of Congress quite a few years ago when you switched from Democrat to Republican and became the governor of the great state of California. I also remember, as I'm sure you do, 1976 when we had a little friendly contest for the Republican nomination for the presidency. I also recall very distinctly when you asked me to be your running mate in 1980 as vice president. I couldn't accept, but I was pleased to campaign for you in the 1980 election when you won over President Carter. I also have the best memories of the fine job you did as President of the United States. On this occasion, Betty and I extend to you and Nancy our prayers and best wishes. God bless you both.
Happy birthday, President Reagan. You know you are one of America's most well-loved presidents. Once you cheered us with your optimism and faith, and now you inspire us with your courage. I send affectionate greetings to you and Nancy.
And from former President Jimmy Carter, Rosalind joins me in sending you our congratulations on this milestone anniversary of your birth. Although we cannot be with you this evening, we are delighted to have our friend Larry King deliver our birthday message to you. And I am honored to do so. We hope you enjoyed this salute. Happy birthday, Mr. President. From all of us at CNN, good night.